Hello everyone. This is Sabrina and you are watching another episode of Coffee with Sabrina. Today I have a beautiful guest with me. I cannot wait for her to share her background, her business with you guys. Lonice, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
And it's cold outside. It's kind of snowing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's flurries or if it's snow, but it's piled up on the side, so I say it's snow.
It's absolutely snowing. Coming from the southern side of town, we have snow. So.
Really?
But I couldn't wait to get here.
I know. Timing is really key because we've tried this a few times.
Absolutely.
So I'm really excited to have you here today.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about you and your background.
Okay. Well, yes, my name is Lonice Stoker. I am a mother, I'm a wife, and I'm a business owner. I have a 10-year-old daughter. Her name is Carrington Stoker. And what a lot of people don't know is I have a son, but that's my bonus son. And he'll be 21 actually on Thursday.
Wow.
And so with that, I had to learn how to not only be a stepmom, but I learned to be a wife and a business owner, kind of all at the same time.
Wow.
And I didn't realize back then, because I've been married going on 12 years this year.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was a challenge, but it's been, I've grown up learning how to do something versus, when my daughter came, my daughter is 10, her and her brother are 10 years apart. I kind of already had a little practice, if that makes sense. So I'm sure like a lot of people can relate where you get in a relationship with someone that already have children. Some people think that's a red flag or when they're dating.
Right.
But it actually has been a blessing for me.
Yeah.
Because Ashton, I met him when he was 7 years old, and to see him grow and develop into this young man, he lived with us full time. So literally, I got that hands-on experience because I knew I wanted to be a mother one day.
Yeah.
So I look at that how God kind of put you in the position for preparation.
Yes.
Which I believe that really ties into business, right? You have to want to prepare to be successful.
Right.
And I know that I'm going like deeper.
No, please, because this is what we want to know, Yeah, no, please keep going.
Yeah, so I just kind of tie all of those things together with my life and the way my business has gone and grown as well. I've been a full-time spa owner and a master esthetician for the past 10 years. And where I have started off in corporate retail, where I was a buyer in the fashion world. That was, I thought, my dream job.
Right.
And then once I reached a couple of milestones in that and able to achieve, I worked as a sales associate at Bell's department store. Yeah. I don't know if you're familiar with Bell's.
Yeah.
It was a department store, guys. If y'all don't know what Bell's was, it was kind of like a mini Macy's or something like that, where we carried things like Polo, Tommy Hilfiger, and just a lot of brands that you could get outside of the mall setting. And I always said I wanted to grow into the corporate side. And I was 17 when I started that job and worked my way up, climbed my way up through the chain from being an assistant manager to a store manager. And then once I graduated college, I graduated from the University of North Texas in Denton, so go Mean Green.
Right.
And that was my goal, was to, once I graduated, go into the corporate side of retail. Because I had been in retail for all those years, from 17 to about 23.
Right.
And then I went, or 21, something like that.
So you were totally enjoying that while you were doing it?
Yeah, I loved it, because the part about retail is I get to meet new people all the time, and I love to meet people. I love to learn different cultures. I love to learn from others. And so that allowed me to do that in the retail world. And I feel like retail is something you kind of have to have a passion for.
Right, yeah.
And loving to meet people, because if you don't, it's really not the industry for you.
Yeah.
But I find that in entrepreneurship, it's the same thing.
Right.
I get to meet all types of people from all walks of life on the daily basis. When someone clicks the booking link, you don't really know who it is until they're laying on your table. And that has been definitely a dream that I didn't know I had. Entrepreneurship was not something I planned.
Right.
I kind of fell into entrepreneurship.
It goes back to a little bit of what you said earlier. We really have to follow our path and listen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because while that was not a dream of yours, it took you in that direction. So for some of us, we see the straight road.
Exactly.
And we're scared to get off.
Yes.
And we don't know that there's a whole beautiful side of the world if you go left or right. You think, okay, I just got to keep going straight. This is what it is. It's a 9-to-5 job and I have to do it.
Absolutely.
And so I love that you said that, and it was not a dream of yours at all.
No.
And to be where you are today.
Yes, definitely. My grandmother was ultra successful in her career, worked for a company like 30 plus years and was able to retire from that job. So naturally, she wanted to pass on those same morals for us. And I did the graduate high school, go to college, graduate college, and finish. But entrepreneurship was like, why do you want to do that? It was not supported really by my grandmother. My mother has definitely been super supportive of my wildest dreams.
Right.
What a lot of people don't know is I also did acting and TV hosting, as well as I did music for a while. But I did that all while still in my corporate job as a buyer.
Yeah.
Because that world, the entertainment industry, of course, until you kind of make it big, you're just getting, little checks to where you really can't survive.
Right.
And I liked to have my own. So I definitely had to have a job so I could pay for my home and things like that. But I definitely enjoyed having the best of both worlds. But corporate retail started to get stressful. And I was just like, God, show me my gift. I was very specific with God, show me my gift. Show me my purpose on earth. That was my prayer. So if any entrepreneur, somebody seeking entrepreneurship out there, I would say be specific with, if you're unhappy in the place you're in, asking God to show you your purpose is different than, Lord, please just get me out of this situation.
Right.
It's different. I feel like the relationship that I can proudly say I have with God and being able to hear clearly from Him is being specific with what you want.
Yes.
And I know that I am a great person. I know that people can learn from me and that I have something more to offer. And that's what He showed me through aesthetics. Right. Being an esthetician is more than just doing the facial. Right. Or just doing the lashes. It's actually healing. When the client gets to have a safe space with you, they've had a long, hard day at work, and it's just you and me in that room. What happens in there stays in there. Yeah. And so I like to say sometimes we're unpaid therapists as an esthetician.
Right, yeah.
Because a lot of people do unload a lot of their things when they're in there, like even crying. Just for the simple physical touch that happens during the treatments. Yeah. It does help release the pressure. Like we're taught the pressure points. Little do a lot of people know. Like we are releasing tension and stress while you're getting your facial.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you don't realize. I was having this conversation last night with my very good friend and mentor, and I was telling her, a little bit of what's going on with me, because as entrepreneurs, we're always going through something. Mm-hmm. And she said exactly what you just said. She said, Sabrina, you have to be specific in praying. And I know that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not something I don't know.
Right.
But God uses each of us as a vessel.
Absolutely.
And last night he was using her as a vessel. And she said something that I love also that is resonating with us. She said, your insurance office is really your ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's exactly what you're saying. We've sat there, we've cried, we've seen joy, our clients just come to say hello.
Yes.
And so, or they just need someone to talk to.
Yes.
And that's the one thing I always told my staff, a little different from your business. Because if they walk in here to make a payment or to ask a question and they want to talk. Because they don't have anyone else.
Yeah.
So when she said that, she said your insurance office is your ministry.
Yes, I love that.
That soaked in. And then when you said that, I was like, oh my God, that's your ministry.
It is.
So I love it.
Definitely is.
Yeah.
And that's what that being specific prayer is. So I feel like you never work a day in your life when you're walking in your purpose and this is your ministry. It just so happened to have a number attached, but it's more than that.
Yes.
And that's something you can't really pay for. If we are really putting a price tag on how we are ministering to people outside of the service, it'll be way more.
Right, yes.
You know, we will be multimillionaires like 1,000 times. You know what I mean? But it's our purpose. It's our gift. It's what God put on our heart, and only a few of us are chosen to do that. Yeah. And that's a gift that I'm super grateful to have. I put on my clothes every day I know I have a shield of protection, but I also have a duty to fulfill every single day. So if a person walks in to the spa or into your business, we don't really know what they're going through.
Right.
We don't know what type of weight they have on them. Yeah. And through what I do as an esthetician, I'm literally touching the person. So imagine some of the heaviness that I have to release before I go home to my family. Because sometimes people are heavy. But what I love is that when they leave, they're light. Yeah. They're light. They feel great. They're in a better mood. They have more confidence. They love the way they look and feel, no matter what service they're receiving. So I just really enjoy what I do. However, you know, there's ups and downs.
But there is. And I want to back up before we get into the ups and downs. I want to back up a little bit. So how did you and like, what was your starting point to become an entrepreneur? Yes, okay. You said because you said it was never a dream. Mm-hmm. How did you get into that?
Yes, very, very, very interesting. So when I was a buyer in my quote unquote my dream job, it was stressful. I didn't have a great experience when it was time to get promoted and move to the next level like I did when I was in the stores. From the store side, I was able to climb the ladder, and it made it feel like, wow, you know, this is a great company and I can grow, which I did. But once I got to the corporate side, it was very like, you're here and this is where you need to stay. And I'm like, oh no, I'm not that type of person. I don't just want to stay in this one role and retire, kind of like what my grandmother did. And I'm too ambitious. I'm not saying it's anything wrong with that, but when you have a fire in you, you have other things to do. You can't just sit there stagnant. And I wasn't getting the support when it was time. So it was like after a year, you're able to apply and go to the next level. And then when that year would come, it would be all these excuses. Right. Or I didn't get signed off by my upper management team. And I was like, but this is not what was told to me in my interview. Because mind you guys, I moved from Dallas to Houston for this new job and bought a house and everything. And so now you're telling me I have uprooted my life to grow with this company and I have to stay at this one level. That's not for me. And so that's when I realized I had another purpose. I knew that this was not going to work for me. And I realized that I needed to do something different so I won't be stressed out going to work. Because I got to the point to where I'm dreading waking up to go to work.
That's not good.
And that is not a good feeling. And so that's when I start, God, please show me what is my purpose on earth. What am I supposed to be doing? Fast forward, I bump into my husband, who is now my husband again. And we went to high school together.
Wow.
We hadn't seen each other in 8 years since we graduated high school. And I saw him at a mutual friend's house. And we literally kind of picked up where we left off from high school. As far as our conversation, he was like a really close friend of mine. Like he was like my best friend.
Wow.
But yet we dated that year because we only dated our senior year in high school. And then we went to college and went our separate ways. And then that was it.
Wow.
So 8 years later, bumped back into him, and he had a son. And I was like, I just moved to Houston. I loved the atmosphere of Houston, but my career in Houston was not great.
Right.
So he was like, well, have you thought about moving back to Dallas and doing the same thing? It was a ton of companies here in Dallas I could have. Well, fast forward, I end up leaving Bell's, and I moved back to Dallas and started working at Neiman Marcus corporate office. Just as bad. Just as stressful. Just as, I think it was a bit worse, to be honest with you. And I was like, no, God, show me. And then I started, I was a model for this one lady esthetician for lash extensions. And I'm a minimalist when it comes to makeup and things like that. So to be introduced to lash extensions was really great for me because I would wear mascara every day. But then at the end of the day, I would have the little runny eyes looking like a raccoon. So lash extensions are individual lashes placed on your single lash one by one to make it look like they grew out your eyes and look very natural. And so that's when I was like, oh my gosh, I want to do this. I want to learn this as a side job for me. Because I was stressed going to my corporate job as an assistant buyer. What can I do that's going to bring me joy? Again, getting to meet people, new people, and making people feel beautiful. I fell in love with that because it's an instant gratification. Once you get up from my table, your lashes are done and you look beautiful. And that was when I realized, I think this is my gift. I think this is what I'm supposed to do. And thankfully, shout out to my clients that gave me an opportunity before I could afford a bed. I literally started off doing lashes in my bedroom.
Wow.
On my actual bed, using my ottoman from my couch as my stool. Before any of that stuff. Before I could afford anything. So I'm grateful that 10 years later, I can say I have a location, right, with multiple estheticians there, multiple rooms and a suite for ladies to rent.
Do you still have these clients that was coming to your house?
I do. Thankfully, I do. I still have a handful of them that still support me. And so I realized I can't go into what I felt was toxic in my corporate job. I had to walk away. But in my preparation for getting ready to walk away, I'm going to tell you how God works. I said to my husband, babe, my clientele is really picking up. Maybe after 6 months, let's see where I am. And maybe I could quit. The very next week, I got laid off.
Oh my God.
God took the job away from me. So I had to go.
Yeah.
Versus me, I'm planning to quit, meaning I'm not going to get any compensation. I won't get unemployment or whatever, I guess, that comes with quitting. Right. Versus I got laid off and I got a stipend for that and I drew unemployment and I was able to go to school. it was nobody but God by me speaking those words on me to leave.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, she said it. Now let me just take it. Because what I feel like why God did that and took the job, because I would have got to 6 months and be like, oh, let me just wait a little while longer.
Right.
Let me wait a little while longer because we're comfortable, right? We're making our every 2 weeks pay.
Yes.
We know what we're going to make. But he said, nope, I'm going to snatch it all away.
Oh, God, I love that. I love some of the things that are coming out of this podcast episode because I do a lot of motivationals also. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times, and this is really for the audience, right? Mm-hmm. A lot of times we think when something happens, we lose a job, there's a tragedy, something like that, it's God is not on your side. But what we're not seeing, that he is on your side. He's opening other doors. You just have to be ready to walk through those doors. Yes. And while this is not a faith-based podcast, it's going along those lines.
It really
but
is.
I watched The Shack this weekend. And I've seen it a long time ago. It's with Octavia Spencer.
Okay.
And she played God in this movie.
Okay.
Very, very powerful. And if you've not seen it, it's on Netflix.
Okay.
Go watch it. It's called The Shack.
Okay.
But it was a good reminder because as business owners, we're facing challenges all the time. While there are great successes and greatness and satisfaction, we always face challenges. Mm-hmm. And I watched that movie on Saturday. And the one thing I took away from it was when the angel of wisdom was talking to the guy that was going through his tragedy. And she told him, she said, God is never wrong. While there are evil in this world, God is never wrong. And I was like, I had to watch this whole thing to hear
that, yeah.
And so just to our audience out there, whether it's the universe, God, if you know, whether you pray or not, or believe in there's something you gotta believe in out there. You know, they're never wrong. You have to follow your path.
Yes.
So I love that you said that because he's opening doors. We just have to be willing to walk through.
Absolutely.
And that was my thing is like, God, what are you doing right now? Because I'm not really quite understanding it. I don't know if this is temptation or if it's a sign or if it's me to sit still.
Right.
I need help.
Absolutely.
And so I love that you said that.
Yes. That was a pivotal point in my life. My daughter was born in August, and this happened in January. So she was only like 4 months old when that happened. So naturally, that was my motivation I have to make this work now.
Yeah.
Now that I don't have a 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 job anymore, I still have to provide and help around the house and do the things I need to do and really try to make up for my every 2 weeks pay at least. You know what I mean? Like to be of assistance to my husband and things like that because we're just, say average people. Right. You know what I mean? Neither one of us are wealthy. We work hard and that's it. But let's see, that happened January of 2015. And March of 2015 is when I entered esthetician school because I was like, you know what? I'm getting all these clients on the side. Let me now make this a career because now God has showed me this is what I'm supposed to be doing. For him to snatch the job away, and I'm talking about 6 months from now,
right.
You took it in a week. This is a sign. This is a clear sign that this is what I need to be doing.
Right.
And so here I am still standing 10 years later. Of course, there's a lot of meat in between there.
Right, of course.
But 10 years later, it's still the best decision I could have ever made.
So within the 10 years, what would you say the first thing was your greatest challenge once you started? And what do you think was your biggest success? What would you say makes your heart smile?
Biggest challenge. At one point, I was so booked to where I was booked 6 months out. Meaning I was filled to capacity for 6 months. I had a waiting list for clients to get to me. And that was when I introduced skincare and I started to do chemical peels for people of color. Because a lot of times people think or don't know that there was a solution for acne and hyperpigmentation, dark marks, and let alone us being able to do a chemical peel for melanated skin. And once I partnered with this company, PCA Skin, where they had a solution for melanin, it was wonderful and it was game changing for my business. But the challenge is I was capped. You know, if I cannot take a client for 6 months, I'm booked solid, but I realized that's when I need to hire a team. That's when I needed to grow and duplicate myself. And so that's when I started to hire and interview other estheticians to come aboard. And I mean, they were in and out because they were just not representing my business or my brand or doing the things that I thought that they should do and not following what I'm teaching.
Right.
You know, so I would literally, no, this is not going to work. This person got to go. This person got to go. You know, and then I finally got 2 young ladies that kind of fit the mold, if you will. And it was a great, that challenge became less of a challenge because I started to be able to duplicate myself. Right. And had a little bit of help. One of my biggest successes would be the fact that some of the young ladies that have been with me, they have been able to get their dream apartment or dream car or open up a business based on them working with me. Me seeing their financials change. From being an esthetician at Laced By Lonice, I'm the stepping stone for their business. They're able to go flourish. That's like success for me. I love that.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
What would you, if you had to give a piece of advice today for someone who's thinking about, not thinking, but maybe they have a great idea. Mm-hmm. They don't know that's a goal, a dream. They're not thinking about business ownership or anything like that, but they have a great idea. What advice would you give them in this moment with utilizing that idea or skill or talent?
I feel like if you cannot stop thinking about it, I think that is a sign that you have to go after it. Right. If this idea continues to wake you up out your sleep, or it's just on your soul every single day, you have to act upon that. Don't sleep on it. It doesn't matter if someone else is already doing it. It doesn't matter that you feel like you don't have enough money. It's gonna come if you just act and take those first steps. Everything you're doubting is going to fall into place because you said yes to it. Don't hesitate.
Yes.
Follow that passion, that drive. That's what I would say.
And I say when I tell people my story, in one-on-ones or friends or whatever, I always said I took a chance on me when I opened up my agency. Mm-hmm. Because I worked in insurance. I've been in this industry over 27 years. Mm-hmm. But I worked for another company. I was an employee.
Yeah.
And when I opened up my business, we had hit rock bottom. I had a sick husband at home, lung cancer, and medical bills through the roof. And my boss retired, and I couldn't find another insurance job. And God said, "This is it. You're gonna have to take a chance on your." I've never said this out in public, but when I started my insurance business, I started it with a negative bank account.
Wow, Sabrina, that's that faith.
Yes. So when I say
had.
I took a chance on me,
Sabrina, I love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I want people. I mean, there are things you could do and can't do. We were a one-income household. It was me. I had none at the time. None
Sabrina,
at the time.
what a testimony.
Yeah.
What a testimony.
Take a chance on you.
Bet on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You bet on yourself, and look at you now.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I am so proud of the things that I've gone through, the challenges, the life challenges. Because it teaches us, right? Not just in business, but the things that happen throughout your life helps you throughout the rest of your life. And it's building that foundation. Or even a stepping stone for you to keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
So, I know I've been to your spa.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
I have to say as my testimonial that when I pulled up, even in the parking lot, because I feel a lot of energy.
Okay.
It was so warm. And I felt like, because sometimes, when you pull up in a parking lot somewhere, you're like, oh my God, I don't want to go in there. This was so warm. And I walked in, the smell, the music, the ambiance, the little sayings you have, it was beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
It was beautiful. And to top it off, it was my first facial.
Yes.
And I was scared because oh my gosh, I use a lot of homeopathic stuff. While I use products, brand products sometimes, I do a lot of homeopathic things, right? Yeah. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, this is my first facial. What if I break out? You don't know.
Right, of course.
You don't know. And you only have to hear one bad thing from somewhere else or someone.
Yeah.
And it makes you scared.
Yeah.
And laying there on your bed, I have to say, at first, I have a problem laying flat. So I was like, oh my God, is she going to come in? Because I can't lay flat like this. I feel like I'm going to die for a second, right? Or for more than a second. But I'm saying this here on the video because it helped me to deal a little bit with that. I literally go to the dentist and they keep me up, sitting up to clean my teeth.
Yes.
Because I can't be back like that. But it was something in that room, something about something that it relaxed me. I started breathing, and I was like, you're okay. Like I sat up a couple times. Yeah. I was like, no, I can't do this. I cannot lay here like this. Yeah. But then I don't know what it was. It was a whole, like it was a switch.
Yay.
So I wanted to share that with you today. I did not share it with you.
Right.
I didn't share it with you that day. Not because I didn't want to. It's just it wasn't the time.
Right.
I still had fears of, oh my God, what's gonna happen.
Of course.
But so that was that, and then yes, the touch. Like I said, I've never had a facial. I got in the car and I called my friend and I said, why don't we do this more?
Oh, good.
Like I have never done this before, and this was. Yes, a massage relaxes you and everything, but like there were certain things you did on my face, like no one's ever done that.
Yes.
Right? Not even a loved one.
Right.
So it's like, wow. So thank you for that.
You're
It was
welcome.
such a great experience for me, for your product, for the way you handle your business, but just being in your space made me feel really good.
Oh, good.
It was good vibration. It was good energy, and I needed to share that today because it made me feel good.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I am like literally trying to hold back my tears because we're in the service industry and we can only touch one person at a time.
Right.
And so to hear that is golden for me as a business owner, as a small business owner. Your testimony can change the trajectory of my business. My testimony with you, it can change. Like we talked about this kind of briefly before we start filming, which is the referral.
Right.
That can change your life and your business. So thank you so much for even publicly saying this for me.
Yes.
That means everything to me.
Yes. And I didn't plan to say this publicly. I knew I was going to tell you today, but it was meant to be.
Yes.
It was meant to be. So, yes. Well, I would love to stay and talk all day long.
Right, of course. Me too. It's so organic.
Yes.
It's such a genuine conversation.
Yes. And sometimes I ask people about being on the podcast and they're like, oh my gosh, no, I don't want to be on camera. And I'm like, you're really not on camera. You're having a conversation with me. That's all it is.
That's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's exactly
We're
how
having
I
a
feel.
conversation. I love it. So before we end, is there anything you would like to share with the audience? Some last words or advice, anything?
Yes. Something that one of my friends talked to me about anything in life that you can apply. It's proper preparation prevents poor performance.
Wow, the 5 B's.
Yes. I feel like you can apply that into any part of your life, but especially with entrepreneurship, if you're not properly prepared, you're going to perform poorly. But if you want the success, you plan, you prepare, you study for what you need, you kind of know the industry you're going into so you can perform at a high level.
Wow.
And that can be for athletes. That can be for school, from you a child passing tests. All of those can be applied to whatever path you choose in life.
Yeah.
So properly preparing for your success, I think, is golden to anyone out there.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
That's strong and powerful.
Thank you.
Yeah, the 5 B's. I'm going to have to write that down to remember it.
Yes.
If the audience wanted to reach you, how can they reach you?
Yes. Instagram is where I'm very active, and Facebook, but it's at Laced by Lonice, and that's Laced, D as in dog, by Lonice, and it's Lonice, Spa. And that's my name across all platforms. We still do welcome people to call us and inquire. So our phone number is 214-926-2012. And you can book with us by phone. You can also text that number as well. And our website is lacedbylonice.com. And for the audience, if you are in the city of Dallas, I'm located near Dallas Love Field Airport. And you get $25 off of your first service if you go to our website and join our email list.
Wow. So all of that information will also be on the bottom of your video.
Okay.
So we'll put that on there if they need to reach you. I think I was going to ask you something before we end. I need to ask you.
Sure.
I was going to ask you before. But you do classes also, right? You do train estheticians?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Do you want to take a couple minutes to talk about that?
Sure. Thank you so much for that too. I do have a multitude of facial classes, waxing trainings. I offer mentorship as well. I'm actually preparing for a 6-week relaunch roadmap to success for spa owners. It is a 6-week intensive course that starts March 3rd, actually. And I'm literally teaching you from start to finish how to launch a campaign, launch a product, or launch your business properly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love it. Yeah, I know we talked about that a little bit, and I wanted to make sure you got that out there too.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show today. I appreciate you so much, and of course for driving out here in the weather today.
Yes, thank you, Sabrina. It was my honor and pleasure, and I look forward to seeing your podcast continue to grow.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Well, guys, you've just seen another episode of Coffee with Sabrina. Until next time, bye-bye.